So welcome back to Third Rate Thursday. Today is going to be another fairly short one. I've been actually hard at work this week, working on a building site. So I've not had a lot of time to do anything. I've come straight home from work today and I'm bringing you Third Rate Thursday from my own back garden just before I go for a bath, a well-earned bath. But this week we're going to start with any replies we had to last week's question, which was, did you watch the coronation, King Charles's coronation? So we'll delve into our third rate post bag. Starting this week, we've got Rick Deckard says to last week's question, interesting as always, appreciate your viewpoint. I watched it more for the strange occurrences like the dark clad fellow walking outside past the door, the blue/yellow threshold crossing. I didn't see that myself. It sounds quite intriguing. I might well have a look into that, see what was going on. But does the blue/yellow threshold crossing, I mean, does that pertain to an ongoing conflict in the world? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it myself, Rick. But yeah, very interesting. That's followed on by Neil Stokes. He says he watched it, but he wasn't glued to the TV all day because obviously it went on for quite a few hours. But what he's saying, he's dipped in and out. I mean, it was a historic, really probably once or twice in a lifetime sort of thing, or 3 times if you're really old and for the next king. But yeah, it was on. You know, you could dip in and out. But apparently, a lot of people have said who, like my nan, who remembered the coronation back in the 50s, said that this one was not as a grand affair, and it was actually a decision made by King Charles and his people that they weren't going to go all out. So it's quite an interesting thing. And we got Ken D. He says he's got a very strong opinion. They're the biggest benefit scroungers out there. It's always the counter argument of, look how much money they bring in tourism, which in all fact is hard to gauge, as the percentage who just come here for them is next to nil anyway. Why don't they start paying for their own celebrations instead of dipping into the taxpayer's pocket every time? Some say it's a controversial opinion, but it's on a lot of people's minds, I know for sure. Yeah, I'm sure it is, Ken. It's many people's opinion, and they're perfectly entitled to it. And yeah, I mean, logically, there is logic to that, and it's very, like you said, it's really hard to know how many come here just to see Buckingham Palace and all that kinds of things. So yeah, it's a very valid opinion you've got there, Ken. And that's followed by Ethical Bunny. She says, I didn't watch it, but I love the Queen. I thought she was amazing, and I can't wait for King William. Charles, not the biggest fan. I feel like he meddles in politics too much. And you know what? I very much agree with that outlook, because the Queen did keep it classy. She kept out of things, and she just got on with being the reigning monarch. Whereas Charles, even before he became king, yeah, he does get involved in a lot of sort of, if you ask me, misguided politics. And he's also involved with a particular 3-letter organisation in the world that, if you do know about it, begins with W and ends in F. And it's not the WWF, it's another one. Quite a dubious one, I think. He does seem to be involved with those, and I think a lot of people can see that, and you know, they can see that he's involved with them. They're not my favourite organisation. I don't know if that's what you were getting at, Ethical Bunny, but I do think he does meddle in politics too much, and that's why I'm not the biggest fan of Charles. Whereas I did think the Queen was all right. She did a good job, and she kept out of these sort of things. Moving on, we've got Louise Copeland. She says simply, I have better things to do, Dan. very much like me, I had better things to be doing that Saturday than watching the coronation. And like I said, I don't sit at home getting wound up about it. I just haven't got an opinion. I'm like lukewarm water on that particular one. But I just like Louise, I didn't have time to watch it, and nor did she. So yeah, there you go, Louise. And I think we've got one more in the post bag. We have got Chris Pritchard. He says, no, did not watch the coronation. Times have changed since Elizabeth's coronation, which I sort of was just getting at a bit on one of the other answers. In the early 50s, Britain was then full of hope and inspiration for a better future after World War II. Now we are in a national and world-like state of degeneration, thanks to the world leaders and politicians in every country. It's strictly downhill now, and Charlie will not make any difference. Sorry to be so negative on your interesting channel. Oh, thank you, Chris. But we all know it is so. Yeah, and I can see that myself, Chris. It's just like what my nan said. It was a different world, 1950s. We were coming out of post-war gloom, and the Queen's coronation was a moment to rejoice and savour. But today things are so different, and we're really trying to sort it all out and decide, well, I am, who I like and who I don't like. And there's a lot of them I really don't have time for or don't care for. A lot of these people out there in the world, especially the ones in Prince Charles's, King Charles's favourite 3-letter organisation, got my eye on you guys, and I'm sure many more have around the world. Sort of sussed you out, so best watch it. But that's enough of last week's question. It was quite a full quota of participation, and thank everybody for chipping in. We're going to move on to this week's, which is we're moving to another one, but we're revisiting a subject that we did some months ago in one of the early Third Rate Thursdays, which is we're going back to AI, because looking in the news this morning, I was having my coffee, I noticed Sting, the musician, I think from the 70s or 1980s, I think he was in the police. Not literally in the police. His brother was in the CIA, though. Not his brother. The drummer out of the police, his brother was a CIA guy. And he was the manager of the police. I know that because I've read a few books. But Sting says that he feels that AI is getting out of control. And pretty soon, next 5 or 10 years, you won't be able to recognise whether a song has been written originally by a band or artists, or generated by an AI. And I've heard a couple of the AI songs that have been going around. I heard the Nirvana one, Nirvana style song by an AI. It did sound like a Nirvana B-side to me, but I hear they've got Oasis have been done, and a few other artists by the AI. And this is just the start. And that is sort of what I was getting at our last time we talked about AI, was that how do we know in years to come all artistic endeavours might well just be done by the AI? It's just like I'll be able to get my AI up and say, can you make me a third-rate content video? I can't be bothered going out this week. And it'll just knock me one off, and then I'll just upload it and say, yeah, there's third-rate content. It's authentic because the AI does it just like I would do it, mistakes and all. I'm having a bit of a laugh about it, but yeah, I think that we are at the thin end of the wedge. And again, I'm just logging what's going on, really, so that in years to come, if YouTube's still here, we've got, not just by me, but we've got a bit of a log. We've documented us at this stage, which is obviously May the 18th, 2023, Thursday, May the 18th. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But anyway, have you heard any of the AI songs, or have you checked out any of the art or anything? And tell us, what do you think of it? And do you think that AI will be able to undertake artistic endeavours for us all in years to come, saving us the effort and time of doing it, which defeats everything, really. It defeats the whole point of being creative. But yeah, we'll see what happens. See what you think. So please tell us in the comments if you've got an opinion or anything about it. So, see if I get it all in one take this week. So moving on. This week's Thursday throwback, get it right there, is a visit to Porta Palance in Mallorca that I made 5 years ago. And it just basically, we're having to have a walk around it, taking the beach and some of the history of it in a very early third-rate content style. So if you like the sound of that, because we're well into holiday season now, check it out. And I will, because I'm at home now, got a decent internet connection, because I had a terrible connection at the caravan last week. I'll get a link to that put up ASAP after this is up. And moving on, finally, this Sunday's third-rate content video, lunchtime on Thursday, will be a visit we made in the last month to Ludlow abandoned cemetery, which is, I think it's on Corve Street in Ludlow, just nestled away there. But I'm sure you could just walk past it and not realise it's there. But there's a whole abandoned graveyard, Victorian graveyard, but there is some history preceding that, which actually does involve somewhat Lawrence of Ludlow, who was the owner of Stokesay Castle, who we've did a video on in the recent time, last few weeks. So the actual the space there has been used for a long time, but the Victorian graveyard got too full and it was stopped being used by Ludlow. They moved the cemetery elsewhere, but you can still visit it, and there's absolutely loads of abandonment and overgrown graves, and we have a real good look round it. And I did get quite philosophical while I was in there. You do just sort of come out of me in graveyards. So yeah, look forward to that. So if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon on Third Rate Content and Third Rate Thursday. And if you enjoyed today, please leave a like, subscribe, and by all means hit the notification bell or leave a comment, because I do love a good comment and I read them all. And I will see you very soon. So bye-bye.